tetema. Whoa, mama 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 tetema. 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 Tetema.
Hello.
Tetema.
Good afternoon. Can we please have the music turned down? Can we please have the music turned down? Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Lerato. Hello. Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so very much for being here. I'm saying this to welcome everyone, both people that are here in the room with us and people that are online. I was told that there are over 80 of you online, and I'd like to say a big kudos and thank you for joining. And to everyone who has taken time to be here physically, thank you for also honoring the invitation, and we're going to get started now. My name is Lerato Likena Okoro. I am the CEO and founder of Lerato and Adams, also a real estate agency, and I am honored to be your anchor for today. The Wimbiz organization, as we all know, is a volunteer one. So a lot of the work that we do, in as much as we're inspiring, empowering women to be the best that they can be, we also like to have sessions like this that would impart knowledge, give you insights, and give you the opportunity to network. So we're going to start today with a HSE briefing by our venue hosts, who are going to tell us how we can ensure that we are safe, how to stay safe, and if there is an emergency, what it is that we should do. So I'm going to call on Madame Regina Temi-Sanre to please come and anchor that.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Regina Temi-Sanre, and I work with Black Diamond Hotel. On behalf of management and staff of Black Diamond, I want to officially welcome you to our facility. We love you and we would like to host you again. Because we care so much about you, we would like to take you through our evacuation process. Safety is the act of keeping ourselves safe from being harmed, and it's also a decision we take, a fast and quick decisions we take when there are emergencies. And if you don't know your movement around the facility, you may not know what to do, you may not know the decisions to take when you are faced with emergency. So I'm going to start with the exit doors. The closest exit door to you is just by my left side, just by the corner. That exit door takes you to a staircase to the car park area, where you find one of our muster points. We have two muster points. They are at two extremes. Just on the other side of the car park area, you find the other muster point. You will not miss it because they are all signed. We usually have our periodical drills, but today we are not having any drills. So when you hear the alarm ring, you need to evacuate. Safety is the first word that you must be cautious about. We also have a designated area for smoking, because we have smoke indicators in our halls and room that triggers the alarm automatically. We use the pool side on this floor. The pool side is just outside. When you step out of this hall, you find it on your right. There you can do your smoking and whatever you want to do. We also have just one kind of alarm ring. It's a buzzing sound. It's audible for you to know that something is going wrong. So when you hear it, you just move out. We have a restroom located outside this hall, just on your left side, across the staircase. When you just step out, you find it on your left, and they are both for male and female, but they are different compartment for the two genders. Once again, I want to welcome you, and I wish you a nice day. I also want to welcome Miss Eniola Berkeley to take you through our Carlos operational activity and our product. Thank you.
My heart. Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, everybody. I can be a pain in the ass if I don't get responses. Good afternoon, everybody. You're very welcome. My name is Miss Eniola Beckley. I'm the admin manager for the space downstairs called Carlos. I am not going to call it a spa because I know a lot of people see downstairs and say, oh, there's a spa downstairs. I'm going to start by saying we're not a spa. We're something we call a pro-aging center, hence why I use the word the space. So I will just take you through a couple of things that we do and tell you what Carlos, how it all started. And afterwards, when you guys are done, you can come downstairs and we'll show you the space, the rooms, and the machines that we use. Hope that's okay. You all have numbers that has been given to you, so they would let you know how those numbers will be used. Carlos is, in first place, the meaning of Carlos is, in Greek, is beauty. The founders decided, they saw pitfalls in the various aesthetics medical spas that they've been to within the country in Nigeria. So they decided that they wanted to fill those gaps. So they literally came up with something to have everything in one space. So be able to have your spa experience, hence why we really don't want to call it a spa, because basically what people here think of spa is massage and maybe facials. But Carlos does a little bit more than that. We basically we were built on 4 pillars. We're built on 4 pillars. And the 4 pillars are aesthetics, in no particular order. Aesthetics, mobility and movement. We have nutrition, and in this case, gut health. And then we also have biological age testing, which is wellness. Hello? Okay. So I'm going to start with nutrition and gut health. The thing about Carlos is what we're about is being able to carry you through a journey, not a journey where you're only concerned about your exterior or how you look, but how you feel from inside. So it's something that when you're coming, you experience from A to Z how to take your entire aging process in your hands. Now, everybody is going to age. When we talk about aging, I'm not saying that we're not going to age. We're going to age, but we want you to have control, to be able to take control of your aging process, whereby you're taking it from inside. So the gut health come there. We give you advice on nutrition. We have supplements, vitamins to help you. We have our doctor that could sit down with you and listen to your concerns and give you the right advice tailored towards your specific concerns. That's where the nutrition and gut health advice comes in. And then, of course, we have aesthetics. We call it visible signs of aging. Visible, of course, for the word visible, where it is seen. So some people say, oh, I have wrinkles. If you can see, I have lines. I have wrinkles. Oh, my tummy I need my tummy to. Those are the visible signs of aging. We do that based on, again, your concerns. What do you really want to achieve? We don't do, I am 60 and I want to look 15. Unfortunately, no, and we don't want you guys to come in thinking that. We try to limit the expectation of people. So what it is We want you, even as you're aging, to be proud of yourself, to be happy within yourself, to be well within, and that shows outside. I know a lot of people, we say things like, if I'm feeling good inside, it shows outside. It is true. It is true. The excitement that comes from inside makes you glow. And then, of course, the aesthetics now takes control of the exterior that you want to take. So you want to do your facials, you want to burn fats in specific areas, you want to get rid of the cellulite after childbirth. All that is achievable. But first, you need to start from inside, feel good from within, and then the rest will be history. There is also something called, in the wellness area, we have what we call the biological age testing. Now, this is the foundation of Carlos. This was the beginning of the idea of Carlos from the founders, where we look into, you come in, you meet with our doctor, they speak with you, they want to tell you there are two types of ages. You look at your biological age, which is what we do, and also you look at the general chronological age, which is from when you were born to when you finally go and meet your father, our Father in heaven. So the biological for us is more important here because you come in, we do a test. It's a blood test. They just take your blood. But of course, we're going to run you through the various things that it entails. And then we send it out for the test. It tells you exactly how you are aging. There's a biological rate to the aging process within you, going into your cells. So it's from there that you would be able to understand. Please pardon the intrusion. These are our beautiful estheticians and front desk executives. So thank you. Please clap for them. They are beautiful. Oh, thank you. So biologically, we will test you, and then it's not 100% proof as to how you're aging, but it starts to give you an idea of where things are going wrong. So those chronic diseases, it will tell you when it's going to come, if there's a possibility or probability of it. And we all know that the earlier you notice something and you start to treat it, the better reversible it is, right? So the earlier you're able to know, because what we also preach about here is preventive, rather than curative. So we want you coming in and preventing things, and that is going to take me to the next pillar, which is physiotherapy. I know a lot of people think physiotherapy is when I have a broken bone or when my back aches and I have to come in. Yes, we do that as well. And our physiotherapist is one of the best, and I can put my money, I can put my breath on it, one of the best we have in the country. But we also try to let you know that the same way you go to a clinic or a hospital to do a test, a blood test, you just want to know what's wrong. The same way we women go and do our pap smear, just so we want to be sure that there is nothing there. It's the same way we're trying to encourage people coming and have a talk with our physiotherapist. And so what he does is he checks you. We have different machines. You're going to come down and see it that he uses. But there's a particular machine that's the beginning of your journey. It's called VizBody. You just stand on it. It's like a 10, tops 15 minutes, how would I put it? 15 minutes treatment, more like. But it's an analysis. It just takes you through your whole body, the posture, water retention, every necessary thing that you need to check. You would see it yourself. So where you have postures that are maybe, like I did mine, and at some point I saw that I was bent like this, and I'm asking, why am I like that? And he says that the way I walk, I need to kind of start adjusting the way I walk before I get too old, because at that point, that's when it starts to physically show. So things like that will come up, where you have tilt. To what degree is that tilt? To what degree is the tilt to your head? To what degree is the tilt to your shoulder? That is the beginning. Now you have noticed that. What do you want to do? You want to catch it in time. So the minute you notice it, he starts to put you through a regimen of treatments and says this and this and this for this long is what you need to do. And that solves that. Moving on, because I've only been given 10 minutes, is the aesthetic aspect of it, which is the beauty, where it now starts to come out. You've sorted out your gut health, you're living well, lifestyle changes, you're eating right, and then you're walking well, so everything is fine in your bones and in your posture, and then you want to look good. So we don't do bleaching. We don't bleach skin. We bring out your glow. So whatever your color is. So anybody that wants to bleach here, Carlos is not for you. Anybody that knows somebody that wants, we don't do it. But we will let you glow, and it will bring out your actual color. I used to be slightly darker than this, and I didn't know that was not my color until I started to go through the different stages of treatments. We have cosmelan, we have different, I'm not even going to start, there's quite a lot. So that is where you're coming, that is for the facial. We have fat burning machines that burn. We try to dissuade people from injections, Botox and all. We use machines where totally, in most cases, non-invasive. So you come in, you can burn your fats, you can brighten out your face, you can tighten your muscles, build collagen within your system, because we all know as we get older, and I'm saying it because I'm middle-aged, the level of collagen in your body starts to reduce. Mine has totally reduced, and you can see the frown line on my face. Now, those are the things that we hope to resolve. Can we do it? Yes. Do you want to give us a try? We also have wellness. Under wellness, we have massage. This is one of our massage therapists. And so, have a try. Look at it. We have discounts for people who decide to come in afterwards, depending on what you decide to do after you've seen the space and what else you think you can do. Once you have chosen what you want to do, don't worry, leave the rest to us. You would not regret it. Thank you very much for giving us this chance, and have a great day.
Thank you so very much. I think we would all agree that wellness, beauty is something we are particular about. Like, especially as women in business, when we work, sometimes that work shows on us. And a lot of times we say, thank God that we don't look like what we're going through. So thank you so much to the team at Carlos for introducing and explaining what you offer. And I hope that we'll have people go around. I'd like to say thank you also to our sponsors, because without them, things like this would not be happening. Imperial Homes for supporting the March edition of the Roundtable. Please, let's give them a round of applause. Thank you, thank you. Because we're a little bit behind schedule, quite a lot, sorry, we would not be opening up time for people to intentionally network, but we hope that as you're sitting next to each other, you'd at least get to know one or two people that are at the table that you're at. Each table has a minimum of 6, so if you can just learn what the name or what the person, 2 people at the table with you do, that would definitely go a long way to achieving your goals, interests, and our objective of helping women to network. So I hope that everybody in the course of the program would at least be able to have that, to get that done. I'm going to hand over the mic now to Omowomi Akingbonge to give the opening remarks. She's the executive director of Wimbiz, and she's going to tell us a bit about what Wimbiz is, what Wimbiz is doing, and how we can continue to contribute our own quota to the Wimbiz dream.
Thank you very much. Happy International Women's Month, everyone. I think we should clap one more time to celebrate ourselves. On behalf of the Board of Trustees and the executive team at Wimbiz, I want to formally welcome you to this pivotal roundtable discussion on family and housing, addressing challenges and the opportunities for mortgage market here in Nigeria. Permit me to also celebrate our sponsors, Imperial Homes, for making this happen. I celebrate the entire team. They are here to diffuse all the challenges that we might be concerned as far as housing is concerned. Yes, they're saying hi. I'd like to also specially recognize Miss Angela Merbite. I hope I got that right. She's the Group Head Sales and Business Development Manager at Imperial Homes. Thank you. Housing is a necessity. In fact, if we talk about the basic needs in life, as far back as I remember the Abraham Maslow's law, getting shelter is one of the major things. You don't think of your extra things when housing is not sorted. The moment the issue of not having a roof above your head. But in the case of housing, it goes shelter now. It's also a source of sustainable income and also a way of preserving your wealth. A property hardly depreciates. When you get your vehicles, from day one, your cars, your breaking bags, they're already depreciating. So housing is very important. But no doubt, women are empowered financially, more empowered and getting more independent when it comes to their finances. But when it comes to housing, we all know that it requires bulk funding to acquire. So that's one of the challenges. A publication released by the Ministry of Women Affairs last year, 2023, revealed that in Nigeria, the landowners, only 10% of them are women. So the gap when it comes to gender is very wide. And it's really because when it comes to acquiring properties, beyond your regular income, it also entails that you have to be strategic about it. Because there's the bottleneck of the bulk funding, like I mentioned. There's the bottleneck of being defrauded. There's the bottleneck of omonile issues. And there are so many other bureaucratic things that could be the limiting factor, especially where women are concerned. So today we're hoping that after all the discussions from the experts in the House, we're able to have a clear path on how we want to be able to navigate these barriers, these challenges, and maximize the opportunities that are available. We have over 180 people online. I greet you too for our online audience. But I encourage you not to keep this information to yourself. When we're talking about accelerating action, it's first of all not hoarding information. Let people know on things that they can do to get to their goals faster. So you can spread the word, even as we're here right now. Send the link, let people join so that they can learn. And even afterwards, please do spread the information. At Wimbiz, our mission remains to inspire and empower women to attain leadership position. And we all know that being able to do this requires that you're stable financially, emotionally, and housing is one of the key things to have this sorted. I wish you an amazing time, insightful time, filled with key networking, and of course, take lots of fun pictures, send it on your social media platform, let people know about what is going on here. Thank you very much. You're welcome.
Thank you. You have really made my work so much easier. Like, I read your emails and now I understand why your emails come that way. Thank you so very much, ma'am. We're going to welcome Miss Omolola Sonowo, who's Group Head Business Operations of Imperial Homes, to also give her welcome remarks.
Good morning, everyone. Oh, it's afternoon. Yeah, I forgot the time because I'm here under an air-conditioned room without thinking of the sun outside. So, without wasting much of our time, my name is Omolola Sonowo, and I work with Imperial Homes Mortgage Bank as the head of Business Operations Group. Part of what I do is to look for ways to meet the needs, the housing needs in the society. And in doing my job, Wimbiz happens to be one of the platforms I need to get across to people. So yes, the welcome address has said it all. When I walked into this room, I had conversations with some people about women and housing, the obvious gap in the ownership of landed property in Nigeria, where you see the rate of men owning properties and women at a very wide par. So yes, we intend to close that gap, and we want to start today. There's no better time to start than today. So that's why we're here today. And we have a lot of knowledgeable people in the room. Imperial Homes Mortgage Bank is ably and well represented by my team and I. We'll be here to take all the questions at the end of today during the networking session, hopefully. And yes, I'll take another presentation which is more targeted at addressing the specific needs from the panel session. We moved that presentation to that time because we need to make sure we're speaking the language and answering the questions that come through from that panel session. So thank you everybody online. Thank you everybody here with us physically. We hope to have a good session and we hope to engage more. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Thank you. So we are gradually getting to what is the topic of today. And we are having two very esteemed women who are in the industry. I say esteemed because I particularly believe that on their own, they've done and achieved so much. As women, they have taken that as a core, and they have not let the supposed disadvantages that could play to stop them. They are both very well known in their own ways, in their own fields. And today we're going to be able to share of their knowledge, to ask them questions, to understand how they have done it and how they are helping to ensure that we have housing and we are able to gain access to mortgages for said housing. So I'm going to start by introducing or calling up Mrs. Ichechi Okonkwo, who is CEO of Victoria Crest Homes. Please let's give her a round of applause. Sit anywhere. And then also we're going to have Olamide Claude Enin, who is ED of Megamount and co-founder of Arcs and Glass. Welcome. And I am going to be that person who is tasked with asking the questions that have been prepared. We're going to have a session after this where you can also ask your questions. Please, those of you that are online, drop your questions also in the comments box, and we will do our very best to include them so that you also are getting answers to your questions. So we're just going to get started. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just let both of you please just share a bit about how you started and how you've gotten to where you are as women in the real estate sector. Thank you.
Hi, ladies and men. Good afternoon. I'd like to say thank you first to Imperial Homes Mortgage, esteemed partners, and Wimbiz for the opportunity to be here and to share. And I'd like to also say a happy International Women's Month to all you amazing women and all the amazing women all around the world. My story is quite simple. I went from being a banker to an entrepreneur, and I set up a laundry and dry cleaning business when I got a bit restless with having to run multiple chores, including laundry, and being a full-time housewife, a mom, and a career woman. And I noticed that a lot of the people within my space, especially in the career professional world, were also experiencing the same burnout I was experiencing. And so I set up Laundry King, and I left the bank to go eventually run this business, to go run and manage this business full time. And then after, a couple of years, structure was in place, it was running on its own. I wanted more. I tried to propose different opportunities to my husband. When you're married, you have to try and be playing your politics well. So everything I brought up on table to, diversify into, he literally said no to. He just kept saying, you'll get tired of that one soon and it might not fulfill the dream for you. And then I sat back and I said, you've been doing real estate business with him, so to speak, but unofficially and not earning from it. Why not then, begin to do it professionally? And that was how I got into doing real estate full time. And that's what has brought me here today. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Olamide Claude Enin. As she said, I want to thank the partners, Imperial Mortgage Homes. I want to thank everyone for being here. And most importantly, I want to thank God for allowing everyone to see today, to be here and be present. So my journey is, I think it's also a very simple one, simple but complex. So I'm a lawyer by profession. I went to law school. I did the whole thing. But I only studied law to please my parents, with most people in my generation. But I knew I wanted to be part of the family business. So my family owns Megamond, and I knew I just wanted to be part of that process. I remember when I was really young, and I remember going to sites with my father, and I watched what was then a swamp turn into gold, basically just right before my eyes. So I grew up watching the process develop, and I knew I'd made up my mind even before uni that, look, whatever is bringing this gold, I need to be a part of. But with most Nigerian parents, they were like, yeah, you need to go and study law, you need to be a professional. So I did that. I graduated, and I did really well. And then when I came out, I remember I went up to my parents and I said to them, I want to do my first project. They were very hesitant. They were looking at me like, oh, this small girl, what do you know about building a house? So in 2019, myself and my husband now, then he was my boyfriend. I don't know how my parents trusted me with it, but then he was my boyfriend. We decided to do a project, and it was a 5-bedroom detached house in Lekki County. And we started from foundation. And before we finished the project, we sold the property for much more than what houses were going for within the estate. And I think from doing that, from that entire experience, my parents were shocked. Everyone was shocked. Everyone was amazed. And from there on, we just started doing it. We kept doing it. I wasn't working with the organization. I then started my own company with my then boyfriend, who is now my husband. And we started building, developing houses, renovations, and all of that. And as a last year, I fully joined the company. And before that, we had completed various projects. One landmark project that we completed in 2022 is the Glass Vine. So that was 12 units of apartments. And we did that from foundation upwards. And honestly, it's been an amazing journey. It's been a learning curve. But it's great when you have great mentors who are also your parents. So that's my journey.
Thank you so very much. And the reason why I started with that question is to help set the baseline for the fact that none of us here actually studied or went to school to learn about real estate before we got into the sector. We have grown through the opportunities, we have worked through the challenges, and these are part of the reasons why we are where we are today. So to all of us that are here in the room, those of us that are online, this is your first encouragement to say, it's not necessarily about what you know that will help you get to where you want to go to, but it is in the pursuit of knowledge, understanding, and an acceptance of what is needed that is going to help you. That is one thing that I think that mortgages are. People tend to have a misunderstanding of what they are, how they can help you, and think, oh, it's expensive, it's tedious, it's difficult. And I hope that at the end of today, you're going to be able to leave this session with a whole lot more clarity on how it is that you can also consider using mortgages to either start your real estate investment journey or your home ownership journey. So we're going to start with the first question, and that's to both of you, please. In your experience with real estate development, beyond the general cost issues, what are those unemphasized challenges in the housing market that we are experiencing?
So I'd like to answer this by saying Nigeria is a highly urbanizing country with a population of over 230 million people. And different various sources have said that the deficit is around 20 to 22 million. So the housing deficit is around 20 to 22 million. Now, if the real estate subsector were to build and deliver between 50 to 55 housing units across the 36 states in the country annually, it then means that in 10 to 15 years, this gap would have been bridged. And you can then begin to imagine the ripple effects in Nigeria as we know it today. So this simply means that in about 10 years, Nigeria will be one of the top countries in the world in terms of high standard of living. But then we have challenges that have, not helped us achieve this. And one of those major underemphasized challenge is cost of fund or high interest rate, as we may know it. Accessible interest rate is anywhere between 30 to 36%, and this literally strangulates, the housing sector. It then gives us that question: can something be done? Can the government do anything to address this high interest rate? And the answer is yes. I mean, you can't keep MPR-based ratio at an all-time high with inflation running at an excess of over 24% and expect the sector to do well. It is literally not very possible. And so high interest rate is one of those really underemphasized challenge. There are some other challenges, including infrastructure deficit, right? And then, of course, the developers have to chest this and pass the cost on to the customer. And there's also the concern of land allocation. You end up seeing cases where most of the lands are allocated to non-developers who then begin to hawk these lands like hot akara. And by the time they are done hawking it, passing it from hand to hand, it gets to the hand of the developer at a high premium. And then, of course, it jacks up the cost of the property. There's also the concern of the complexities of accessing mortgage. They'll tell you to go bring your grandfather, exhume your grandmother with all of the requirements. I'm so sorry. And then, of course, there's also the complexities of property approval and documentation. I mean, there's so much that the government can control. I'm talking about things that the government can control. I'm going beyond what is inflation is probably not within our immediate control, but these things are things that government can control. Why are you giving land to people who are not developers, who will then sell to developers and then jack up the cost of the land? So these things government can control, and they have set up a couple of intervention programs and institutions like FHFL, and I want to see these institutions and programs begin to actually do what they need to do, provide low interest rate funds, especially for developers, so that developers can build faster at a lower cost, and the product gets to the off-takers at a lower rate. So we're able to actually build and deliver those 50 to 55 units across the different states within a year. So I think majorly interest rates is one of the under-emphasized challenge.
Thank you very much. Olamide, would you like to have a go at that?
Yeah, so for me, I'm going to keep it very simple. I think it actually lies with transparency when it comes to pricing, and I think you spoke about it a bit with some of your points. I'll give an example. If there's person A, she wants to buy a house in Oniro, same year, 3-bedroom apartments, 250 million, same year. There can be another person B, 3-bedroom apartments, same year, 450 million. Now, we have nothing that sort of gives you, we have nothing that exposes why. If we have a database, if there's more transparency, right, I feel like customers within the sector will be getting value for their money. And even us as developers, it sounds strange, because I'm a developer. I should be saying, let everybody pay 500 million and let's forget about it. But I feel like in that market, the market is saturated with inefficient developers. If we have a structure where everything is transparent and clear, when it comes to cost factors, the inefficient developers get sieved out because they cannot play in a market where things are that, where there's data, they won't be able to play in that market. So I feel like if we have that sort of system, hello, yeah. So if we have that sort of database, and if the stakeholders within the industry come together and say, okay, this is what we're going to do, like Reda and Lacera, I think that's what Lacera was set up for, really, to sort of regulate that space, agents and the realtors, am I correct? And the developers. So if we have that come into place, I think that is an issue that I feel can be addressed. It's not really mentioned because I feel like as Nigerians, we're just like, okay, let's go with it. Like this is what they are saying, let's do it. But I feel like if you can tackle that, that would be very helpful.
And I totally agree, because every time we say this is a problem, that we need policy, we need government to intercede, we need government to come into play, my first reply is to say, government has already. It's just about these things being enforced, being implemented to the end. We start, we stop, they fall by the wayside because things get hard. But if all of us can play our parts to ensure that all of these policies, all these guidelines are followed, I think that we would definitely have a better market economy as relates to housing, and a lot of the challenges that developers are facing would be at least addressed. Because as you said, why are landowners, government giving lands to non-developers when there is a housing deficit? It should not even happen. If you're gonna give it to someone who's either going to finance or has a developer that is then going to build out the housing that is needed. So I think that with this rhetoric, we've answered another end of the question, which talks about the untapped opportunities, and we've talked about how enforcement, implementation has to go. Let's go to Mr. Concord, and as a key figure who's in both of the development and sales end of the market, because you play both ends. What would you advise prospective homeowners, especially first-time homeowners, about how they can and go about financing their homes?
So it's interesting because I think we do not say or re-echo this enough, but even when you do, somehow people still find a way to do what exactly they want to do and then come back and complain that real estate is a scam. You can't not, start your real estate journey, your investment journey in property, and not speak to the experts. You get your fingers burned, and then you hear people start screaming, oh, real estate is a scam. You can't try to scam the value chain yourself and expect not to be scammed. So eventually, one of the major things that needs to continuously be re-echoed, which I do talk about, with my off-takers of first-time home buyers, is seeking adequate knowledge, whether it's in terms of getting the right property, speaking to the right developers, investigating who you're buying from, because most often than not, people follow the noise. Oh, these people are selling, they're advertising their property, and they're telling you, buy 3-bedroom terrace duplex, pay over 5 years, get 1 goat, the 25-liter vegetable oil, 1 bag of salt, and you're jumping to go and collect bug-offs. And then when you get scammed, because it will choke you somehow, eventually, do they steal those lands that they are telling you, come and buy one plot of land in Lekki Phase 1 and get 1 plot back for free? Did they steal the land? It's not possible. So when you follow all that buzz and all the long throat of groundnut oil and ram, you get into, you run into problems, and then you begin to abuse real estate developers around the world. You begin to generalize and say real estate is scam. You scam yourself if you want to get scammed. You need to seek the right knowledge, speak to the right people, speak to agents, credible developers, find out the people behind the property, the project that you want to put your money in. You don't just walk around, you see a house and you decide, oh, I'm going to buy this, without asking questions, without making sure that there's documentation backing that project, and then when somehow government comes and they say they have to demolish it, you start crying. You say real estate is a scam. You scammed yourself. So what you order versus what you get is not only in fashion, it's also in real estate. Order right, speak to the right people, and you might just be saving yourself a lot of headache. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes. Okay. So, we can all see why you are who you are. You're so passionate about this, and it's very true. So, whilst you've talked about speaking to the right person and all, so let's talk about how you break down payments. When people are coming to purchase a house, how do you work around how you set up payment structures for your properties as a developer? And if you were helping someone go through the mortgage process, how would you also advise that they should look at those payments?
I think one of the things I failed to mention when I spoke a bit earlier is also meeting yourself where you are. Some people want to buy real estate. This is their very first property, and maybe a husband and a wife earn in excess of about 2.5 million aggregate income in a month, and you're dreaming of owning a 5-bedroom duplex in Lekki Phase 1. You cannot steal it, right? So you have to meet yourself where you are. Be realistic with what it is that what you're earning can afford you right now. Coming back to conversations on financing. So there are various financing options, and I believe that's one of the reasons we're here today. Imperial Homes Mortgage offers an array. Developers are offering payment flexible payment plan options. So it's easy for you to look at your finances and settle for what works for you. Affordability is relative. So you want to buy your first home and you want to buy a 5-bedroom duplex in Lekki Phase 1 and you cannot afford it. You would, begin to experience frustration automatically. So meet yourself at your point where you are now. Start if it's 2-bedroom apartment in on Orchid Road or in Ogombo that you can comfortably pay for right now. Settle for that, and let's also begin to see properties as tradable products. Right? A lot of people, you see them say, oh, I want to buy my dream home. Your first home doesn't necessarily need to be your dream home. So you want to be able to buy what you can afford now, and then as growth and progress happens, then you can upscale. You can go to Imperial Mortgage and say, oh, I have been able to increase my earning ratio, and so my husband and I are about to put money together, and we can, upscale. We can then move to the Lekki Phase 1 of our dreams, right? So be able to have those conversations and then save with Imperial Mortgage. Go and open an account and, plan a structured model that, is comfortable for you to be able to save towards. Truth be told, housing in Nigeria is expensive, and that's because of cost of funds. There's nothing we can do about that until this government that we're always shouting about. And it's painful because most often than not, when we have these conversations, they are not in the room. So I don't know who's going to be opening their head to put the conversations in there for them. So we need to, actually have the conversations and be realistic in addressing our need, because housing is a global, a national need, right? All of these intervention programs and institutions are there for you to explore. Speak to the right experts, have the right conversations on how to build your equity, how to structure a flexible payment plan, how to save towards your down payment, and then go from where you are to where you need to be. Thank you.
Yes. That's really, really thing. I mean, that's just absolutely correct. So, Lamide, let's go back a little to how you talked about that first project that you did. And you talked about how you sold it for way higher than market rates and all. What was that defining or element that allowed for that to happen? What would you say was it?
I think the major driver for that particular product was the design of the product. It was different from what was already available within the estate. So the product stood out. That was why we were able to sell at that price.
Right. Okay, so let's now take it to location.
Okay.
How do you manage this as you keep going through your various projects? I mean, we now have you as ED of Mega Mount. You've done Arcs and Glass. You've done amazing products. And by the way, Glass Fan is beautiful. So how do you then balance the issue of pricing based on location versus affordability versus design versus how or what it is people want? Talk to us a bit about that process, please.
Okay, so when it comes to affordability in Lagos, I don't believe in it. That's the honest truth. Affordability is also very subjective, and as she said, you need to sort of work within your budget. You start from somewhere, then grow to somewhere. But when it comes to that, I'll speak to what Megamond has done in terms of sort of balancing those two variables. What we try to do is to offer products across various locations, right? We don't concentrate on maybe, I would say, Ikoyi or VI. We try and spread our products. By doing that, we can reach different income brackets. So I'll give an example. We have we have products in Ogun State, we have products in Ibadan, we have products in Lagos here, we have in Lekki County, from Lekki County we have in Ikate, from Ikate we have in Ologolo, we have in Lekki, we have in VI, we have in Ikoyi. So by doing that, by spreading it, we're able to meet people or to sort of cater to people in different income brackets. That helps us when it comes to, pricing. We're able to sort of target, to sort of link those variables, yes.
Okay, yes, that's quite helpful. Then if you were to talk to the intricacies of location for choice of homes, what would you say to a first-time home buyer?
I think you said it already, really. So first-time home buyers, first of all, you need to know why you're buying. If you're a first-time home buyer, are you buying as an investment, or are you buying to live in as a family home? Those questions will determine what type of product you'd buy and where the product would be. So I'd use myself as an example. If I was to go into the property market now and I wanted to buy something, I'm married and I have 2 children, I would probably be looking at something I can live in. If I want to live somewhere, I'm looking at, okay, how safe is the place? Is it a gated community? I would want to live in an estate. Now, can I afford Ikoyi? Can I afford VI? I'll probably be looking somewhere around Lekki. Or when you say Lekki, Lekki has different phases. Lekki phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. Anywhere in a gated community, somewhere around a 3-bed is what I'll be looking at. And with my income brackets, I'll be looking at something within the range of, I'll say 100, right? Within the range of 100. So that's how you think about it. If I was looking at investing, I would actually be looking at the mainland. I'll be looking at Surulere. I'll be looking at Yaba. I'll be looking at areas around students' housing where people can come and do short lets, instances like that. So I'll be looking at a 2-bedroom. Anywhere, a 2-bedroom, 1-bedroom, or studio apartments that I can buy, and then short lets to people within that area. And the mainland, those areas I just mentioned, are hot pockets right now for short lets. I can testify to that.
Nice. So thank you. I think that a lot of what both of you have said is people should tackle home ownership not necessarily from just I want to solve my home ownership needs. Start from where you can. Solve for someone, and someone else can solve for you, and then you keep growing through those phases. So let's talk home ownership in general right now in Lagos, as both of you have worked through. What are those areas that are, you've mentioned a few, saying mainland and all. What are some of those areas that now, if someone who's looking and saying affordability, where it is that mortgages can work and all of that, how would you advise a first-time homeowner, or suggest to a first-time homeowner, to look at that problem?
Well, I think, but one thing I also wanted to add is this. I think that's why we have our partners here, Imperial Mortgage Homes. They have a new product called HomeVest, right? If you go on the HomeVest platform, you're able to see, they call it appropriately priced housing, right? And you're able to access mortgages for, I think about 12% is what they are doing, if I'm correct. So it's 12%. So if you're a first-time home buyer and you're at this event or you're listening online, I think the first point of contact is to go to HomeVest and look at appropriately priced housing at 12% interest. That rate is unheard of, really.
I agree.
So that would be your first point of action. I don't know if.
And they do have an array of products. I'm just going to lay on what she said. They have an array of products between Lagos Island and Lagos mainland. So you have, if you say you want to live on the mainland, you have options. You want to invest in the mainland, you have options. You want to live or invest on the island, they also have options there for you, and they can guide you from, the first point of this journey of saving and putting down your equity to, actually interacting with the developers and acquiring. They do all of the necessary, because most times, like I've said, people don't do due diligence. They've done the due diligence for you. So you just walk with them blindly. They will not lead you astray. I promise.
Nice. So Imperial Homes, you have advocates in our two speakers who are speaking very highly of you. So we'll just go to the last question for both of you, because I think we've covered a lot of the things in between. So we're just going to go to the last question, and this is about how financial literacy tends to be a barrier to home ownership for many Nigerians, particularly women. What actionable initiatives do you think that we can implement to improve financial education for women, especially as relates to home ownership?
So first of all, I'd like to say all the beautiful women in this room who registered to be here and those online, give yourselves a round of applause, because this is the first step to, killing financial illiteracy, so to speak, literally. And I like to say it's not just financial illiteracy that we're seeing and suffering, it is also perception illiteracy. You see that around the nation, more than 70% of the women have this absurd notion that it is a man's responsibility to house the family or buy or purchase properties. And, that myth had transferred from fathers and forefathers who think it is, a man's responsibility to do all of that. And sadly, a lot of young women are still in that, in that space. So it is that perception that we also need to kill. And Wimbiz, a lot of the female or women advocacy platforms, and, literally us sitting here is us bringing ourselves, engaging and bringing ourselves out of that, that space. We need to speak to more women. We need to engage more women. Those ones who are aware, please speak to the ones in your circle of influence. It is important that a woman knows that it is not a man's responsibility to buy or own. My sister here started developing properties by just telling her father that she wants to build a house. You can wake up and do that. A woman can do anything. There's nothing that should be limiting us. Who says you can't bequeath real estate to your children, to your siblings, to your parents, right? Why should it be it's a man's responsibility or job? No, that's a very absurd notion, and we need to begin to, a lot of it is in the education. So this is an amazing opportunity that you have gotten to hear this one-on-one, and whatever it is that is limiting you, trust me, it can be resolved. If it is finances, it can be resolved. If it is just societal belief, I am telling you, I own multiple, you can own multiple. So please, let's correct that belief system and let us begin to work actively. Some people say it's finances. You can work actively to increase your earning capacity. So let's say you're a 9-to-5 person and you say, my salary is 500,000 a month. How can I buy a house? I'm sure you have a talent, you have a skill. How do you put them to play to be able to earn more so that you can increase your income and your ability to be able to buy or even do a down payment for a mortgage? So let's begin to come out of, those excuses that I can't access it. My income, my finances is not enough. You can find other sources of income, things to do to build your finances. People are influencing on social media today. You can be your own influencer. You don't need to be on social media. That space where you work, speak to them about, real estate, about properties that you've heard of, about what's going on in your environment. Look for credible developers that you can go look at what they are doing, understand what is going on in the property market, and begin to introduce people. And before you know it, trust me, there's a lot of money in real estate. For just introducing this, my sister here, to me, right, as a developer, you earn a commission as high as 10 million, as high as 50 million, as low as 1 million. And you begin to build that fund. And before you know it, you've built your equity. So let's begin to look for things that we can do. I've given you one expo, start marketing real estate. Come and meet me, come and meet Mega Mount. Let us show you our products. Come and start influencing, speak to your people. You don't need to do more than just introduce it, and we'll take it on from there. We close the deal for you. You earn your commission. You begin to build your equity. It is as easy as I have said it. Thank you.
Awesome. Amde, do you want to add something to that?
Yeah, I wanted to speak more to the education sector when it comes to spreading knowledge about finance and women, because I feel like everyone here, brilliant that we're all here, but we belong to a certain, I'll say, class or a certain mindset of actually wanting to achieve or wanting to actually build finance or wanting to know what to do. That willingness is already there for you to be here. But what about women who don't even think there's an opportunity, or women who don't, or girls, actually, not even women, girls who have that mindset that, look, what I want to do in life is to marry a rich man, and that's it, they'll take care of me. What happens to those people? And I think it's from education. Now, in the public sector, private sector, but also at home. So as mothers ourselves, speaking to your daughter like you want her to be independent, not badging her about getting married, but about how are you going to fend for yourself at a certain age. That should be the conversations we should be having with our daughters. When we start like that, we sort of gear their mindset into wanting to think about finance, into wanting to think about owning a home, into wanting to think about things that only men should be doing. When we start having those conversations with them about the value of being independent from a motherhood perspective, I think we sort of begin, that mindset shift would begin to happen. That's one. And from the education system, so even in the public sector, there needs to be curriculums about this. From as young as, from year one, there should be finance or maybe like a sales day into curriculums where, kids are taught how to buy and sell and the value of money. Once we do that, I feel like, these kids will grow up wanting to know more. And it's not just, we sit down in forums and we talk. It would be from a place of, want. It needs to be an intrinsic value to want to actually say, I want to be independent and own a home by this time. It needs to be, and for you to grow intrinsic values, it needs to be from like an upbringing sort of situation. So that's where I am with that. That's how I feel like and get that really flowing in. As women, and just generally as a society, you don't want to be depending on everybody. You want to be self-sufficient. That's the goal. So thank you.
Thank you. So let's just go on and take the last question. I'll call it a question or a point. We've spoken so much about how we can learn or get to know more about how to get into the journey, how to what, and you've taken us to the point, which is actually part of what's spurring this. It's how do we advise our mortgage banks and our mortgage partners to help in demystifying this whole mortgage process? I mean, you've talked about how education at home, informally, is very important. You've also talked about how there is an issue of perception that tends to becloud our judgment. So how do we advise them on ways that it is that they can go about it? Yes, so you can go first.
Okay, so first I'll start with this. 60% of the population is between, I think it says 25 and 40, I think. So we have a young population. And we can look at what other banks have done to sort of demystify industries. We can look at GT Bank with the food co thing they do, and how from that, you've had a lot of food businesses open, a lot of entrepreneurial spirits have arisen from just that program alone. And you have other banks doing the same thing now in different industries. The mortgage industry can come together and do what maybe call it Global Finance Week and make it attractive. So you have seminars, you have lineups from, industry leaders, and they all come together and sort of present, make it fun. You have to make it fun. If you're trying to reach the young population, you cannot sit down and talk too much. It needs to be an active thing. I don't know how to sort of put it in figures, but it needs to be an active thing. The same example I just gave now about GT and how they've done that with Foodco, it's the same way I feel like mortgage banks can maybe have a brainstorming session with people within that demographic and ask them, guys, we want to demystify mortgages and make it accessible to your generation. What sort of ideas do we need to be able to achieve this? When you're asking the right people the right questions, innovative ideas will come. You cannot be asking 60-year-old men or 70-year-old men how to make mortgages interesting for a young population. The sort of feedback you would get would not be what we want. That's the honest truth. So if the mortgage industry can set up a panel like that, invite young people within that population, sit everybody together, let's come up with innovative ideas that would make mortgages fun, mortgages interesting, mortgages reachable. Some people are not even thinking about mortgages. They don't, that's not on their mind. They rather pay small until they buy they're not thinking about going to any bank. And I think that's not the way it should be, because I have friends in the UK who own homes even younger than my current age. And they did it through a bank. Nobody was thinking about putting some savings somewhere to sort of buy a house. They did it through a mortgage bank. So until the mortgage industry understands that, look, right now, we're not even at their forefront. They're not going anywhere. That's the honest truth. You need to be at the forefront, and you can only do that by being fun and engaging and asking the right people the right questions.
Thank you.
I'll just layer on that and say that there are a lot of people who are underserved, and the mortgage industry or the mortgage sector needs to identify them and begin to tailor products towards serving them, actually, because they have set requirements. You have to be working, you have to be a career person, you have to do this, you have to have that, so they need to identify this underserved, especially the young people, and then help tailor products that can meet them where they are. That's one. Two, a lot of educating needs to go out there. A lot of people need to understand that, because the fear majorly is cost of fund. It is expensive, really, to buy and own a house in Nigeria, and that's really because of cost of funds. You can't blame the mortgage, because they kind of source their own funds. The mortgage bankers, they source their own funds, so they also need to cater for the cost of their funds. So, it's important that we begin to realize that this cost of fund is something that can actually be discussed. I had a conversation with the team, the Imperial Mortgage team, earlier this morning, and I said, most of the conversations I have is, it's expensive, I can't pay for it, I cannot. And I'm like, why can't we have products that are tailored towards even women co-owning through mortgage, right? They then told me they have, or they're working on something like that. But then we need to amplify them. We need to use influencers to, get to these people who we really need to get to. What are those different products you have? What are the ones that you can bring up to suit the market? Then make so much noise about it. Engage whatever platforms you can, so that those who do need to, like I said earlier, housing is a national problem. So everyone needs to work together, what product you can offer, and then they can find a way to meet you and, just demystify the entire process. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, please, let's clap, because I think that we have heard a lot of insights, a lot of advice, a lot of realities from both of our panelists who have talked about it from the development side. They've talked about it as women. And I'd like to believe that a lot of us here are starting to rethink how we are thinking or seeing this whole idea of mortgages. I particularly am leaving here with a lot of things that are making me think, okay, this is how we can do it better. We can do that better. I love the fact that we've heard the idea of co-ownership through mortgages. I like that we've talked about how we can start to demystify the information around mortgages, how we can bring it down to the people who are actually in need of that, and that's the younger generation. So we're gonna close this panel by asking for both of you to please share closing remarks. What do you want people to leave here remembering? What's that one thing you want people to either start, note, or remember?
So I'd like to say property ownership is not a pipe dream. You can achieve that even this year. Start where you are. Start by building your finances, whether with co-owning. So you shouldn't have friends that all you do is talk about people, go to social media, gist about what's going on. This person said this person said that. No, have friends that are valuable. So put money together, come together, form an investment club, 2 people, 3 people, 4 people, co-own, buy a property, sell, and then continue that cycle and continue to build your fund. You can also, like I said earlier, find other sources of income, begin to make hair if you must, begin to do makeup. Imagine photographers, how much they earn every weekend. Do you guys see how many parties they throw in Lagos every weekend? Huh? These video guys, do you know how much they earn every weekend? Makeup artists, come on, makeup is now, depending on where you live, from 50K to 100K to 250, and people are doing makeup and going for parties every weekend. Go and learn how to do makeup. Don't sit at home the whole Saturday and Sunday and sleep away your destiny. Please, let's learn something that can be beneficial to us and, change our story. You can cause that shift by yourself, by just making the decision to today.
So I was thinking about this when she was speaking, and I think I have like 3 major takeaways from this. Number 1, we actually need an app that's or a software that sort of demystify the cost factors when it comes to real estate. People need to know the cost of things. So anybody who can develop that's a real money maker for you. Number 2, we need to raise our daughters as independent women. Please, moms, don't force your children to get that. Marriage should not be the number 1 thing on your, but as independent women. And the same values and, that strength you want to give your male children, give it to your female children from early on. And then number 3, do what your pockets can do. And I took this from what you said. Everything would seem hard if you're reaching too far. But if you're reaching closer to what you can achieve, it won't be that difficult. So coming into the property ladder, just do what your pockets can do. And there are opportunities out there. One major one is HomeVest. 12% interest on a mortgage is unheard of in Nigeria. So just those 3 major things, I think, is what I have taken away from this. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we're going to go into Q&A. I suspect that people have questions. And please, if you're online, do send your questions in. We have a few minutes to go through Q&A. We're going to start from the ladies in the room. If you have questions, please just raise your hand and someone will bring a microphone to you. Okay, we have 1. Any other questions? Please, do we have more mics? Okay. So the microphone is beside you.
Good afternoon, and thank you very much, Wimbiz, for this. Okay, so I have 2 questions in different aspects. 1, I understand the developers and everybody, but the major problem I have with developers right now is the quality of housing that is being chunked out. You buy a house, I have seen people buy a house and maybe fire engulfs the house because bad wiring. Or you buy a house and you can't even hit a nail on the wall because you hit your nail and it's sand coming out. And then you see a house in a very good environment and you're wondering, is this a prison yard or what? Because the windows are so tiny and they tell you the price of the houses and you're like, is it because there's so much, there's a need? So you're deciding to chunk out whatever you like so that people will definitely buy it or people will take it. It's so terrible right now that you are scared to put your money into houses. Last night I was still chatting with someone because of a property that collapsed. And people buy houses and your house falls. It's good when they have not even sold it and it falls and then it's on them. But the problem is you have bought it, you have paid for it. They can't give you your money back. So you are left to bear the cost of whatever has happened. Or is it the leakages in the houses? It's terrible right now. So I don't know how your properties are, but I hope that there are things that people are looking into because it's very important. It's not just about selling property to people and leaving them high and dry. It's about putting your money, because people are, okay, we're talking about raising finances for this right now. So you can imagine struggling to raise funds and buy a property. And then in 2 years, you're crying because the amount of maintenance you have to do, it's terrible. So I don't know how you manage that aspect, but that is a big deal. And then, okay, so now I've gone on that round and I've forgotten my other question.
Because of time, let's just answer that first. And I think it will be.
Okay, so I think I had mentioned earlier that it is very important for you, and this is for you first before I speak about the industry. It is important for you to do due diligence before you purchase. It's important for you to do due diligence before you part with money. Don't just, like I said, go with the boss and all of the offers that they give and not ask the right questions. Check the track record of the developer before you buy any property. It is very important. And going to the issue of quality, the real estate industry is an open one, so people can make some money and come and begin to parade themselves as developers. We do have institutions by government to monitor, monitor, all of this, and we have Rasrera, we have I forgot their names now, but we do have those bodies, and that's why you saw a bit of an uproar last year in the real estate industry. I mean, so many of them are actually doing their checks. Now the problem is in following through. So we have Redan, we have Lasrera also making sure that these developers are put in check to ensure that quality is taken seriously. But for you, it is important for you to do due diligence. Make sure that you check the track record of whoever you want to put your money with, so that you don't order something and get something else delivered to you. Thank you.
Any other question in the room? Okay, please, towards the front here, we have a few people.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Thank you for this opportunity. So my question is, what specific plans do you recommend for someone that wants to complete a landed property for residential purposes? Do you have any specific plan for such? I already have my landed property, and I'd like to complete it. Do you have any plan in?
You want to complete it or you want to build on it?
Say it again, please.
You have landed property.
Yes.
You want to complete it or you want to build?
To build on it for residential purposes. So I'm asking if you have any plan or a package to.
So
So just to clarify the question, so you have land already, right? And you have this land, but you want to build a structure on the land, but you don't have finances to do it. Okay, so yeah, Imperial Mortgage offers construction finance, and you can reach out to them for that. Alternatively, if you can find a joint venture partner, so somebody else who has finance, they can bring the finance, you have the land, and you can go into an agreement with them to develop your land. So you don't have to have all the money. You just need to find somebody who has the money, and then you can do your development. Another thing I wanted to just do randomly, sorry, I forgot to do this when I was giving my closing remarks, but I have my mom here, and I have to honor her because she's in the room with me. So please, can everybody just clap for my mom, who is my senior madam. This is Desiree Osushino. Thank you.
And whilst we're on the topic of honoring people, we also have the MD of Imperial Homes who came during the session, the person of Mr. Olokere. Thank you so very much. Okay, so we had someone here. Please, where's the microphone? So we have some questions from like us to take, so we'll probably just limit the questions in the room to just 3 questions.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Tolulope Adeboye. So I'm a fashion designer, but my side also is real estate. Yes. I worked with Megamon between 2008 and 2010, and that was Desiree. Good morning, ma'am. Okay, so recently I decided to go back into real estate, but I like to do things right. I don't like stealing. I don't like. Yes. I said, what do I need to put in place so that I won't be cheating the government, or I'm just so confused because when I'm doing anything, I like to make noise. I go on social media and do my adverts. So what do I need to put in place? Because right now you've pushed me, like you've given me a button to just run, and I'm going to run. Thank you.
I mean, so you can first start with registering with La Sierra, right? There are certain fundamentals that you must know as an agent, right, to be able to operate. I want to believe that you want to operate in the capacity of an agent. Yes, and then find a mentor. You have a beautiful one here seated, our madam here. So go back to your mommy and sit beside her, learn as quickly again, because things change every day in the market. So learn as quickly as you can, and, find a mentor, handhold, learn, and you educate yourself. Find what the things, La Sierra expects you to do, and, basically then begin to find your clients, do your marketing, and make sure that whatever properties you're projecting to them, you have done your due diligence. You always want to protect your customers. You've said you don't want to steal, so make sure that you protect them, and then in turn you would, be satisfied with doing that. I think that's...
what you just said, and it goes with the prices of the properties you list. There's this thing agents do now called loading, where what the developer is selling is not the same as what you're selling or putting on different platforms. So with you seem like a very honest person, and if you're that kind of person, just ensure that all your information that you're putting out is aligned with what the developers are actually putting out to avoid misinformation.
I hope that has helped and answered your questions. There's somebody right in front. The microphone is right beside you.
Okay.
And after her, we have just one more question to the lady.
Okay.
Sorry.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Oluchi Okore, and thank you very much, Wimbiz and Imperial Homes. My question would be, you didn't discuss anything on insuring, these houses, like in real estate, then like no insurance, because I think if insurance is instituted into this, maybe it might serve like a kind of quality, checking quality here, like quality control to the buildings and other things being developed. Thank you.
So would Imperial team want to handle the answer for this? Because I know that it's part of the things that they do when they are processing a mortgage. So
I was actually going to say that some of the questions online are also about that. So please, sir, can we have you explain in a few minutes the process that people have to go through to be able to go through that?
Thank you very much for having me, Wimbiz. We've been late to this party, so just a comment before I answer that question. We had the opportunity of partnering with you 2 years ago last year, but we're late, we're here, and we'll keep partnering with you. Thank you very much. Currently, we do insurance for all mortgage financing we do. We make sure it's compulsory, it's free. So that is why we encourage people to also look at mortgage financing, because it helps you to check a lot of issues you might have around. I know when we do projects that we want to buy, we make sure there's building plan approval. So we will not finance any housing that does not have the necessary government regulatory approvals. Building plan, even drainage approval. So the government will not come 10 years after Mr. Tokumbo Wahab and say, you are on the drainage path or you're on the water path. So for insurance, we cover the general insurance, or I think I will call it a burglary and fire. So everything, if the property gets engulfed in fire or you lose a lot of the items, so we cover it. So annually, as you're repaying, we factored the insurance premium into your monthly repayment. So we look at the annual premium, and then we break it into 12 to make it easier for you. What we do is we make the annual payment to the insurance companies upfront, so it's easier for you. We also have something we call a credit life insurance. So what it does is in case of permanent disability or loss of life, so we pay off, the insurance company pays the mortgage bank off, and your next of kin have the property. A lot of people don't know we have that. So we have a woman that passed on a while ago, and the daughter came to my office to thank us for the condolence letter and say, oh, how does she pay off the mortgage? And we told her, no, because there's a credit life insurance on it, the insurance company has paid us, so you have the property fully without any mortgage on it. There's also, and this insurance product I've been on for more than 10 years, because when I joined the mortgage industry 10 years ago, I was part of the committee that worked on it. So information is a big issue here. There's also for loss of job. It's all in that package. For the loss of job, if you have where your employment is terminated, I think your payment for 6 months is covered, because it is assumed that within 6 months you'll be able to get a job. So we take all this together. So for a mortgage of 100 million, for example, this insurance payment will be practically less than 50,000 or 60,000 a year, and then we divide it into 12. So you barely feel it in the repayments, and it's all stuck in already, and get you covered on those.
Thank you very much, sir, for just giving us a quick rundown of how insurance and mortgages work. I think we had one more question.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Alma Oputa. I'm a fund manager. I have 2 questions. So you had mentioned, all the speakers had mentioned FHFL, and I'm usually very weary of things that are government owned in Nigeria, because it feels like many of these social interventions don't really work. So I want to ask, do people actually benefit from FHFL? That's the first question.
Family home.
Family housing.
Family Homes Fund Limited.
Yes. Okay. All right. Then second question, I think that will be for Imperial Homes. For the mortgage interests, are they fixed interest rates for the entire duration of the loan, or are they mentioned a 12% per annum? Are they fixed, or do they vary according to like inflation and whatever the economy is doing?
So let's hold that question for when they will have their session. They're going to come and presentation, which I'm hoping would be able to answer all of those questions.
Thank you so much.
So let's take a few more questions in the room. I think there was a gentleman here beside you that had a question, so we just move there.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mojisola Falayo, and I must say that this is a very informative session, and this is a very topic that is very dear to my heart: women owning assets, women doing real estate. And I have a question for CEO: is to say, how do you cope as a developer, as a woman and a developer in the real estate industry, and how do we ensure that there are less charlatans who flood the real estate industry? Thank you.
So I was avoiding answering gender question today because the truth is I don't see any stereotype anymore. In the real estate industry where you are, maybe in a couple of years back when Madam, was there, and a few of us coming behind them, there was, a bit of that whole male-dominated thing still happening. But now, the tech sector is flooded with women, and women doing really well. So I don't think there's any need for us to keep amplifying that, whole gender bias thing when it comes to the space, right? Then secondly, the truth is, my husband always says that any lie you tell in real estate, it expires in 2 years. And that also, goes to talk about both the women who are not doing well and the men who are not doing well, right? So if you are a developer and you come and tell lies that you're going to deliver in 10 months or 12 months or 20 months and you don't deliver, after a while, people begin to recognize that this person has no integrity, is not a credible developer that we should work with, and they begin to blacklist you. So any lie you tell, you cannot survive beyond 18 to 24 months. So automatically, they are sieved away. I'm not sure if I've answered both questions. Thank you.
Okay. So whilst we move the microphones, microphones with you. Please go ahead.
All right. Thank you very much for this session. My name is Sheriff Alaraba. I'm the founder and managing director of Shalarab Consulting, a real estate advisory and property management firm. So my question goes this. For looking at the real estate industry, especially for developers, and trying to maintain the structural integrity of your buildings, I think somebody asked a question about building after like 2-3 years or some time, you start seeing sand or whatever. So I want to ask, are there like advanced technological solutions that is being implemented in the buildings that you people develop now? If no, it is something that is welcomed, because in advanced countries, there are like structural health monitoring technology solutions that sort of monitor, because of wear and tear over time, buildings have this wear and tear issue. So in a way, it sort of monitors the structure so you can understand the tenure where you need the next refurbishment or the next renovations. Thank you.
Hi, hello. So I don't think it has building the right structure and technology, yes, in terms of advancements. But if you're talking about wear and tear and like you putting a nail in a block and it cracks, that's technology doesn't even need to get there. It's just following the standard building processes, right? And I can speak to Megamond and what we do. You just need to, as structural engineers or as developers, we ensure that all the building regulations are followed. If your mix ratio is supposed to be this ratio, we ensure that the ratio is that, and then that is submitted to organizations like LabSCA to test. If you're a developer and you follow the regular building regulations, you shouldn't have issues like what the lady mentioned earlier. That's even before technology comes in, because what technology does is to help improve the current situation, not to actually do the structure correctly. Do you understand? So if you're following due process, I feel like technology can maybe not even take a backseat. Is an enabler. That's the word. Is an enabler to ensure that things are done faster. Yes, things are done faster. That's where technology comes in.
And I'd like to say that not everything and not every wear and tear is a big issue. I mean, around the world, if you happen to buy a property, on a property abroad, you would also see that sometimes you come into your house, there are cracks. The house is settling, right? So some of the things are a natural occurrence. So if you see it in your house in Lagos, don't begin to shout that the developer developed or that they delivered a bad property to you. Some of those things are natural occurrences. So what happens is, for us as an organization, we have a 12-month service period, so that during that 12 months, if you experience some of those things, we can help you, take care of them, maintain them. We happen to have properties in the UK, and it's the same thing. They give you a contract that says that within this time frame, this might happen. Even it happens everywhere. Do you get it? Everywhere. I actually lost my thought trail. Yes, sometimes the materials you use, like the sand, the sharp sand that we have here, after a while it begins to settle, and then you see those cracks, right? The POP will settle. In fact, when you finish building, you lock up you don't aerate the room. You make the place airtight. You notice those cracks for sure. It doesn't mean that a bad project was delivered to you. Settlement is bound to happen, and when it does happen, those cracks would, appear, and all you need to do is just maintain. Thank you.
Basically, just in summary, just what she said was that there's going to be a snag period, and within that snag period, those things would occur. Don't take it like the building wasn't done properly. It was, but that's just a natural occurrence.
Thank you very much. I'm going to take one of the questions from from our online audience, and it's quite long, but Sarah, you're going to help us with this. My question is on mortgage, and I hope someone from a mortgage bank can help to answer this. What should I do in this situation? I got a mortgage from a bank using my RSA contribution as support. In the offer letter, early repayment was accepted without penalty or time limit. And so I repaid the loan as soon as I could. Interest rate isn't smiling. To my shock, the mortgage bank refused to accept the repayment, claiming that they have a new policy which only allows for repayment of RSA-backed mortgages after 12 months. And so they have refused to cancel the standing instruction, and they keep deducting the interest from my salary account, even though I no longer have access to the loan. So I know that this involves another mortgage bank, but please just help give advice that these can help.
Thank you very much. I think, in Nigeria, part of the issue is that as elites, educated people, we should also try and do things the right way. Because we also came up with that policy. So it's good I talk about the RSA scheme. The federal government, through the National Assembly, allowed that you can use a percentage of your mortgage, of your pension, to get a house. So aside that exception, the only time you can use your pension is when you are 60 or you are retired, because the pension did the reason for setting it up. But some mortgage banks, I think since 2018, we engage PENCOM and the federal government to allow people to use a part. And that happened to be a very successful initiative. In fact, the most successful I ever seen. Over 9,000 mortgages were done in a year and a half using the RSA scheme. But we noticed, the regulator noticed and PENCOM noticed that some people colluding with mortgage banks and developers to use this as an opportunity to take money out of their pension. Aside from catching people red-handed, you don't also want a semblance of it. So you approach a mortgage bank. I have a pension fund of 200 million, and I want to buy a house on mortgage. We all know what mortgage is. Long-term part of it is why it's a mortgage, essentially. So I have a mortgage. I need a mortgage, so I can take 50 million. So, and I need a mortgage of 10 years. Then we allow you to process the 50 million. The mortgage bank processes for you. That is the law. You can't process it yourself. Immediately the money came back. The next month, you want to pay down the mortgage. So there's a perception that you actually did that mortgage, not for the long-term nature of it, but because you want to get out. And then the regulator came and did an examination. A lot of mortgage banks were got. And we were also seen as one of the people that also seems as if we colluded. But we're just being naive. You want to pay down. In fact, I can say we are the only mortgage bank that don't charge a penalty for prepayment. You know, you want to pay ahead of time, most mortgage bank, or most banks will charge you. And so we put a stop. And I want to say, disclosure, I know that customer because I got involved in it. And the customer petitioned the central bank, and I wrote to the central bank strongly, and I know they backed off on that case because it is not just right. We don't want that scheme to be messed up, and then it will be closed by PENCOM to a lot of people that can benefit from it. So we're saying, even if you have booked a mortgage of 10 years and you see a lot of money, you know, you want to pay something over 10 years, and you see a lot of money, you will definitely be constrained to run it for a minimum of 1 year. Because we don't want PENCOM to go back to the National Assembly. Most pension funds administrators, they don't want to part away with the 25% because it's part of their assets under management. They make a lot of money from it. So they discourage, in fact, they were against that bill being passed. So we don't want to create that semblance, and that is why we said so. We've apologized to that customer. I said I must disclose, but we never did anything wrong. We thought it is good. And you know, I'm also standing as the president of the Mortgage Banking Association of Nigeria today, wearing two hats. A lot of mortgage banks were caught and they were fined, and they've been bounced from that scheme, effective December 2024. So everyone, while we are trying to address making a lot of people use that scheme, I still want to use it. I've not used my RSA to buy a property. We don't want, you know, that opportunity to be closed. So we apologize to the customer. You had a windfall, genuinely, but please, you know, just it's a small amount, you know, because the RSA contribution was of the whole money for the property purchase. So just run it for a while, then you close up. Thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you. Come to the end of this session. Please let's give a round of applause to Imperial Homes, our sponsors, Wimbiz, our panelists, to yourselves, everybody in the room, online. Give a round of applause to yourselves. Please, we're going to take a group photo now. Those of you that are here in the room, please stand up. I know we've been sitting for a while. Stand up, stretch. Say hello to somebody. Say hello, say hello. So please, can we just have a group photo? Sir, please come join us. Please, music. People shake it off a little. Just 5 minutes so that people can just shake it off, mix, move around, say hello. Music, please. Thank you. we please start rounding up so that we can hear from our speakers in Imperial Homes as they introduce their products that we all definitely want to hear about. Settling down for the next session where we have Imperial Homes talk to us about their beautiful product. Can we please start to settle down?
Good afternoon, everyone. Please, we'd like for you to please settle down. Please take your... We are not done with the program. Well, in another 20 minutes. Please, let's take our seats. Please, let's be seated so our speakers can take a group picture. Please, we want to take a group picture with our speakers and our anchor. Yes, please. We'd like to call the Executive Director of Wimbiz and the MD of Imperial Homes Mortgage Bank, and our speakers and our anchor to please come forward and take a group picture.
Okay, can we please
let's be
settle
seated.
down?
We are almost done. We are almost done. Sorry,
can we please start to take our seats? We can continue with pictures after. Imperial Homes still have to give a presentation of their beautiful product.
Please, you can do the afterwards. Thank you so much. Please, let's be seated. We're almost done. Just one more activity to go.
Thank you very much. So we're going to go into the last presentation of the day. And here we're going to hear about the product. You're going to hear about mortgages from our sponsors, Imperial Homes. You're going to hear about HomeVest, which we have been kind of introduced to. So we're going to welcome Shonowo to come and talk to us and do that presentation very quickly, very briefly, pass on as much information in as little time as possible. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. This is me testing the microphone, actually. I'm back again. We've had a very, very informative session, and I've taken a lot of notes so that we'll take action, because there are a lot of things we still need to do as a mortgage bank. So a summary of what I've heard so far, and these are some things we will be addressing with this presentation. I've heard financing. I've heard expensive. The cost of houses today are actually expensive. There's no running away from it. That's what it is. I've heard do what you can. Start today and do what you can. So before I start my presentation, I'll just say I would like to run us through the advantages of a mortgage. My MD took it, but I would like to reiterate it. Advantages of taking a mortgage. First of all, your due diligence on that property you're buying is sorted out. The mortgage bank, Imperial Homes Mortgage Bank, will not finance a property that will come down tomorrow for one reason or the other. We'll do the due diligence. We'll make sure the titling is okay, the building plan approval is fine, and everything you need to do in terms of ensuring you're buying a mortgageable property, we'll do it. The second one is the insurance. There is a general conception in Nigeria. People don't want to take a mortgage because they don't want the mortgage bank to come and take the house. People are scared that what will happen when I pass on, the mortgage bank will take my house, but that doesn't happen anymore. Your insurance payments are factored into your monthly repayment. So if there is a job loss, or as a self-employed person, you lose your major source of income, the job loss insurance comes in and does your repayment for 6 months. Or if there's an accident, or anything that incapacitates the borrower, the credit life insurance comes in, so you're protected. There's also your property insurance. In case of fire, the insurance comes in and compensates you. So insurance is it. Then the third one is value. You have real value. Yes, mortgage comes with a cost. However, the total cost of financing that property at the end of its lifespan is way less than the value of the property in 2 years after you purchase it and start to pay your mortgage. And the final thing, a lot of people don't know this, but your interest payments on your mortgage are tax deductible. You enjoy immediate benefits. If you pay your taxes monthly, your interest payments are tax deductible. So in reality, what you're really paying back, what you're parting with, is the money you borrowed from the mortgage bank, because the government gives you a tax rebate on the interest you pay on that mortgage. So why a mortgage? Those are the reasons why you should take a mortgage. And Imperial Homes does not penalize you for repaying your mortgage after 12 months. The minimum time you can take that mortgage for is 12 months. After that, we don't penalize you for early liquidation of your facility. So HomeVest, let me run you through HomeVest. We developed HomeVest as a solution. We listened to the problems, and financing was one of it. Equity contribution is not little. It is a lot. Equity contribution required today is 10 to 30%. And no matter the price of that house, it's a lot of money to part with today. So we looked at it and said, how do we solve that contribution problem? The second one was locating the house. A lot of people don't have the information on what property fits their capacity. Imperial Homes Mortgage Bank thought, how do we solve that problem? Number two. Number three, financing. Luckily for us, at the time we came up with HomeVest, the federal government came up with programs that provide financing at lower than commercial bank lending rates. So that solved that problem for us. So we felt, how do we solve the major problems that are barriers to people taking a mortgage or buying a home today? HomeVest was our solution. And we got to that point through research. We conducted general surveys, and we held focus group sessions where we had people in the room and we asked them questions. So yes, HomeVest does what I said it does here. It helps you contribute towards the equity payment to purchase a house. That's the major difference in going on HomeVest and doing a payment plan with a developer. For HomeVest, you can save for up to 36 months the equity contribution required for you to purchase a house. You don't need to bother. So what we do at Imperial Homes is we take the information from you in terms of what you want, the location, the type of property, and we streamline those properties specifically required by you to you, and then you start saving towards it. It is purely mathematical. So we've pre-identified some properties. We've spoken with the developers. And what it does for you also is we lock you in. So yes, when you indicate to us the type of property you need and the location, you start to save towards it based on your own pockets. It helps you do what you can. So if you select a property of 15 million naira and you want to save for 36 months. When you come on board, what the system does is to calculate the minimum savings you need to make for that 36 months, and you start to save towards it. So what Imperial Homes Mortgage Bank will do is that at the midpoint of your savings plan, remember I said from 12 months to 36 months, we go ahead and speak with the developer of that unit you have selected. And we say, this person is ready to take this property, and we lock it in for you. So HomeVest helps you save, get value, because you're locking in at off-plan price. The price of the property between when you started saving and the midpoint of your savings is no longer the same. Your property price has appreciated. So we lock in the property for you. Imperial Homes will pay the developer on your behalf. However, you have to have saved consistently that your minimum equity contribution, which you have set to save. It helps us also check and see that you are diligent and you really want to do what you have set out to do at the beginning. So HomeVest helps you in terms of gaining value, real value in properties. Even before you buy the property, you already have value. All you have to do is save towards the equity contribution. So after your savings plan, we convert you to a mortgage. Between your midpoint, if you do a 36-month plan or a 12-month plan or a 24-month plan, take 24 months. At 12 months, when we lock in the property for you, we start to engage you on your mortgage. So we prepare you for the mortgage. We do the mortgage processing so that at the end of your savings, immediately, you get the house. So the house becomes yours. So you're no more paying rent. The money you were using to pay rent before, you convert it to your mortgage payments, plus your savings. You convert it to your mortgage and you start to pay a mortgage, and the house is effectively yours. In addition to that, during the savings period, you earn an interest on your savings. So at the end of your savings period, what you have is not just your savings, but a 15% interest in addition to that savings per annum. So at the end of the day, I'm not moving the slides now, so you might not, oh, someone is moving for me, thank you. So you might not, just so that you have real value, so you get the value in the house, you get the value in your savings. So you're gaining on 2 points, which means you need to start today. And then the mortgage financing options. Thankfully, the federal government has helped us. We have the MREF. MREF is a real estate investment fund by the Ministry of Finance, and it gives you an interest rate of 12% per annum for a maximum tenure of 20 years. The 20 years is subject to your age, and you're subject to your retirement age. So it's the higher or the lower of your retirement age between today and your retirement age, or this 20 years. So your minimum equity contribution required by MREF is 20%. HomeVest allows you to save a minimum of 10% based off this financing options, because the different financing options have different requirements. MREF is the lowest interest rate, but it requires you to save 20%, which is why Imperial Homes will engage with you when you are midway through your savings to let you know which plan will work better for you in terms of the price of the house and the mortgage value available. So the different options have different mortgage values too. The MREF has 100 million available to you. The FHF, which is 16% for a maximum tenure of 15 years, has a 50 million maximum mortgage value and a minimum equity contribution of 10%. The processing time is also short because we've had engagements with these different government organizations, and we know the requirements and we can process it fast because we're coming there correct with everything they want us to bring on your behalf. So NHF also is the lowest, 6%, a maximum tenure of 30 years, and a minimum equity contribution of 10%. The maximum value of the mortgage you can access through NHF is 50 million. You can access it once in a lifetime, and the mortgage value depends on your contribution to the NHF. You must be an active contributor to that NHF for you to be able to access value. So it depends on what you contribute monthly that will give you access to finance. So the categories vary based on your contribution. Estimated processing time, 20 weeks. Yes. So that's why we start processing from your midpoint. From the midpoint of your savings, we start the processing. So whatever delays may occur, by the time you're done saving, your mortgage is fully processed and you don't have any time lag between that savings and your mortgage kicking in. So your property journey as a customer, halfway through your savings tenure, you lock down the property. We commence your mortgage processing, and we give you a mortgage counselor who handholds you throughout the process. There's no guessing. We handhold you. Imperial Homes is a mortgage bank, and every mortgage is individualized. There's no way one shoe size fits all. So don't think that we'll give you a general feedback or general response. No. Your mortgage is different from another person's mortgage, so we cannot generalize. So everybody assigned to you handholds you based on you, based on what you want, based on your capacity, and based on your needs. So we have real human beings doing the work, and we're all here. Most of us are here anyway, not all of us. And then we hand over possession of the property to you at the end of your savings period because we would have completed the mortgage. Another catch with HomeVest is you don't have to take a mortgage because we understand that your financing capacity may change during your savings tenure. So if at the end of your savings tenure you're good enough to go without a mortgage, then why not? We hand over the keys to you once you have saved enough to fully purchase the property. But you don't have to. We can give you a mortgage through either of the financing options I mentioned. So what HomeVest does for you, identifies properties, completes the due diligence on the properties, gives you a property that suits your needs within the location of your need and your capacity. We help you save towards your equity contribution. It helps you to be accountable to yourself because, yes, you don't yet have that property, but you know that you're saving towards something. And midpoint, is as good as you having that property. And you're only saving equity contribution, not the full property price. It eases your burden. And then the mortgage financing options. HomeVest is technologically enabled. Yes, we have an Imperial Plus Mortgage Bank app. It's a mobile app, and HomeVest is on it. So you can do your savings on your own. However, we do not leave you alone. From the you indicate that you want to come on board, we start to engage you. We start to understand your needs so that we can advise you properly. We don't want you to come to the end of your savings tenure and you're disappointed that Imperial Homes promised what they didn't give you. So we will call you, we will email you, we will disturb you. We have to do that just to ensure that you come out satisfied at the end of the journey. Housing for you, different mortgage financing options, and then you can contact us. So for you to start the journey, you can scan the barcode. The barcode is just a way for us to meet you so that you can start the process. You indicate your property type preference, your location preference, you drop your contact details, and we reach out to you so you can start. We understand that you might not want to download our mobile app immediately. So we made it less daunting for you, and we'll start engaging you immediately you complete the survey. This is majorly all about HomeVest. I'll hand over the microphone to my managing director, Mr. Ayolo Okere, to round up. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, everyone. Just a quick one. We also have the barcodes on slides outside. Like she said, it's for you. A way for us to meet with you, collect some information, and call you. Aside the fact that you can set up your HomeVest on the app, you can also do it on the web for those that don't like downloading apps. Something that have come to us, we're research driven, is that 58% of the mortgages we did over the last 2 years, women were the primary applicants. Yes. Most times, when they have started the process, we will now tell them, why can't you inform your husband? Or we say, why can't you hard him so that the repayment, there's something we call co-borrower. So 50 is paid from each account, and then they both bear the responsibility. So it is something that was intriguing to us, and we felt that it's a fact that has been underplayed. Now, do the family eventually get to live in? We realize that 85% of the time, the family get to live in those houses. Yes. So, when people talk about the women not being independent or buying houses, it's been a myth. And I think we will gather more data till the end of the year and to share it with the public. Secondly, you might think you are out of the housing ladder. There's a lady I know that she's a member of Wimbiz. Maybe she's online. She specializes in selling houses to people that their kids are getting married. That is 80% of her sales. When she sees the invitation you send to her, she will come and meet you and your husband. Instead of spending 100 million giving these kids a wedding, use half of that money to buy a flat for them in Yaba. The first house I got on mortgage 8 years ago was in Yaba, 45 million. Now going for 200 million. So even if they don't get to live in there, it's a store of value. It's a business she does. Once she sees the Ivy, she was an ESCO of Wimbiz. She has sent a lot of things to me on Wimbiz 5-6 years ago. Come and partner with us. Once she gets the Ivy, she go and attack the mother and the father. You must help these kids start their life on a good standing. If it is to make equity contribution for them, let them pay the remaining. Help them instead of spending odd money. So whichever cycle you belong to, there's a role you need to play in this housing. Then thirdly, the Netcomox CEO in Chechi, most of the mortgages we deal with them are for people in the informal sector. Photographer, there's a lady that was, there are two comedians that bought from them, and they have paid up. 10 years mortgage paid up in 3-4 years. There's a lady that does skincare. There's one that does makeup. So the informal sector is a very big participant in this mortgage. You don't need to be in formal employment. Yes, most of the mortgages we've also done are people in the informal sector. There's a guy that flies drones and cover real estate projects. He has bought a house, he has paid down, he's buying the second house. This is over 3-4 years, introduced to us by Netcomox. All their projects, he does this drone documentary, do shoots, and then put it on YouTube. And that is what he does, alone, to get a mortgage. So we know women are much more driven towards, I have my side hustle, or informal sector is my major business. Yes, you're in the right path. Please join this crusade and let's get everybody a house in the next 5 years. That should be the target for Wimbiz as a whole, that our members over the next 5 years, there's a number of them that get on the property ladder as a store of value, as where they will live. And it's not necessarily mortgage, it can be installment payment, it can be down payment. It has to be at the forefront of the agenda. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. So we are coming towards the end of the program. Let's say thank you to our sponsors for sharing of your product, for sponsoring this event, for enlightening us a lot about how mortgages work. I see that we've already started to get refreshed. Again, thank you to our sponsors. Now we are going to basically implore ourselves on things that it is that we need to do. We're going to have us go down in batches. Some of you have numbers that you were given. We're going to go down in batches to visit the wellness center as they talk to us about. That's the Callas Center here within the premises. And we're also going to get feedback off of you. We're going to try and make this as easy and simple and seamless as possible. So can I have the Wimbiz team please pull up the evaluation form so that people can give us feedback about this event and help us to plan towards future events. Now, if you're here, I'd like to also ask you physically, has this been impacting? Do you like it? Have you enjoyed it? Okay, so now what are you going to do about making sure that that impact doesn't stop in this room? I tell myself whenever I go to events that I'm going to leave every event with one thing that I'm going to start doing, one thing I'm going to stop doing, and one new thing that I'm going to learn. I really hope that everybody in here has at least gotten one of all of these things, and you are going to join us as we accelerate action. It's not enough for us to have Women's Day events. It's not enough for us to have Women's Month and say, oh, in this month we are doing X. It has to be a continuous action, an intentional action from each and every one of us. So in our own little ways, whether it is you going away from this event and talking to two people about the event, talking about the value that Wimbiz can bring to their lives as professionals, or whether you're just going to be talking about how mortgages can help people to start to own homes. You've heard from him explain how people even in the informal sector are be able to access mortgages. What does the informal sector do differently that we say we as people in business cannot do? We all have a voice. We should learn to find ways that we can amplify our voices. And one way that I have found that to be very, very easy to do is to come together with people of like minds, Wimbiz being one of them. So if or you're online, please, please, and please take this as a cue to ask for information about how it is that you can join Wimbiz. The Wimbiz team would be adding and putting up the form, so please give your feedback. On that feedback form, you should also be getting information about how you can know more about Wimbiz programs that are upcoming. And one of the programs that are upcoming is the Women on Boards. I know some people in this room have done that program, and they can definitely testify to that. So if you want to know more, you would be going onto the Wimbiz website, which is www.wimbiz.org, and you can get all of that information. Right, please. So I'm told that people are not scanning the feedback. What do we need to do? Do we need to toast you separate, especially? How do we toast you? Tell us. How do we toast you? What do you want? One person can get something, or I don't know. You've done it. Precious, they're doing it. So please, we need more people to scan the QR so that you can also give your feedback. Your feedback is what helps the Wimbiz team to plan for you. They don't do events just because. They do events because that's what we say we want, we need. And in society, these are issues that are realistic and impact on all of us as we go about our daily lives. I'm going to invite Precious to come and give the closing remarks. Precious? Is Precious in the room? Precious, please come and give your closing remarks. Precious is a long-standing member of the Wimbiz team, so she can literally talk to you about Wimbiz in her sleep, but today we're just going to ask her to give closing remarks, say thank you, tell us whatever it is that you have to tell us about today, and then we can call it a wrap. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. You agree with me that today has been a success. We've taken a lot from today's event. We've learned a lot. We've been getting feedback behind people approaching us to do this again. They want to see this. And this is what we do at Wimbiz. For many of us who don't know what Wimbiz is Women in Management, Business, and Public Service. And we're here, I always say that we are that link, we serve as that link, that bridge between our women and the world. And I would like to say a big thank you to Imperial Homes for supporting us during today's event. We couldn't have done this without your support and your sponsorship. She has said it all. Evaluation, we want to hear from you. I'm sure you saw me running forward because I work as my introduction, the programs manager, and we take all of this feedback to improve on all of our programs just to be able to serve you better. For those who are not members of Wimbiz, we invite you to become members. These are benefits, the ways as you get to attend free events. We get invites to other organizations, trainings, and things like that. Even close doors, strategic policies, and advocacy events. And these are the ways that Wimbiz does to advocate for women and just to improve on things nationwide. She had talked about our Women on Boards mentoring program. So this is a 3-month mentoring program for women who aspire to sit on boards, or even entrepreneurs who want to just set up that corporate structure for their organization. So, just learning how to be on board, or even senior executives who have little to no interaction with their boards in their organization. Just having that understanding, what do you need to do to be on board? You've been hearing your CFO, they're talking about, oh, I'm preparing for a board meeting. What are those things that you need to do pre being on the board and post being on the board? We also have our London conference. This is our 3rd London conference. It will be holding June 14th, 2025, and registration is ongoing. So we invite you to please register, share with your network. You have family members who are in the UK. We have quite a robust network of speakers. I don't want to mention any name, but we have already that are ready for the conference. One of the ways I mentioned earlier that we advocate, one of our focus this year is to also focus for the legal industry, and we have a mentoring program for women in law. I think one of our speakers said, she studied law, but she's not practicing. But please, it's a mentoring program, and we invite you to please register, share with your network. You have younger ones who are in law school. They want to, grow and have that career path. For all of our upcoming programs, we have more programs that are coming up this month. We invite you to please just register and check out www.wimbiz.org. Thank you so much, and we look forward to having you at our next event. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. So, as we come to the end of the program, we're going to now do the fun side of things. Who has taken a fun picture here today? Fun picture, not just a picture. Who has taken a fun? Okay, one person. Who else? Who has taken a fun picture? Fun, a nice picture that is not just, a nice fun picture. Who has taken one? Very few. Okay, so we're going to now take pictures. We're going to start by taking two pictures. We're going to do one from here. So we're all going to do one fun picture. One big selfie. We're going to start up here. Please, if you're online, also put on your cameras and take a fun picture. Take a picture of something that's shown on your screen. Okay, so please let's stand up and join this picture. Whatever it is that you want to do, say, or make happen. We're going to tag as many people. No, not working, so I'm going to make it a video so we can pan through. We're going to do and say something, scream, thank you, Wimbiz, thank you, Imperial Homes, and I'm going to tag Wimbiz. This is your prompt to go and follow Wimbiz. You see the picture, tag and share, please. Go. Thank you, Wimbiz. Thank you, Imperial Homes. Yay. Thank you, everybody. So we are coming to the end of the program. Please follow Wimbiz on all your social media channels, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Wimbiz NG. We're going to have the associates and life members to please go behind to the Wimbiz banner and take a photo. If you're not yet a member of the Wimbiz community and family, please find a reason to join. We do events and things like this all the time. There are many perks and benefits to you, even as a person that is in business, to network, meet people, and get a lot of value. Thank you so very much for coming. Thank you so much for participating. Have a lovely day.
In 3 colors: bronze, gold, and silver. Why not get one today? Do you know it is inappropriate, unprofessional, and unethical to place your bag on the table, especially during a meeting? You can either place it on an empty stool or a chair beside you, or place it underneath your table using your Wimbiz bag holder. The Wimbiz bag holder comes in 3 colors: bronze, gold, and silver. Why not get one today? Do you know it is inappropriate, unprofessional, and unethical to place your bag on the table, especially during a meeting? You can either place it on an empty stool or a chair beside you, or place it underneath your table using your Wimbiz bag holder. The Wimbiz bag holder comes in 3 colors: bronze, gold, and silver. Why not get one today? Do you know it is inappropriate, unprofessional, and unethical to place your bag on the table, especially during a meeting? You can either place it on an empty stool or a chair beside you, or place it underneath your table using your Wimbiz bag holder. The Wimbiz bag holder comes in 3 colors: bronze, gold, and silver.
Listen, some of us were on tour for a long time. This is the first time we could be together like this. But you know what? You guys matter, and we said we got to give it to you this time. Alternate sounds. 1, 2, 3, go!
Why you big, you big, you big?
Baby, don't mind when you see, come give me that. Jump up on my body like animal. Dance make you feel like animal. I go lock you down like criminal. One touch feeling like 1 million. Oh my God. People just say what you like a cinema. Wine body thing like carnival. Make sure you do nobody else.
Somebody call me Burner.
Let's try it.
Trap. promise you we're gonna make up for lost time. Take me to the village. Roy, Ken, Stanley. Well, yeah, big.
Give her penny and pure. Give her everything 'cause she deserves it and more. She don't whine and for me. If I go dash her money, Shawty said she go roll am for me. If I go dash her money,
now your sign, baby girl, I want.
You didn't see that one coming, did you?
Things what you do, I want Chris. Now me and you, everything I want. Every duty, make a nigga want pay. If not Chris, baby girl, I want Chris. If not there, baby girl, I want them. By your side, baby girl, I want them. Oh yeah, just to show, can you find I can't take everything, every second, say now I mean. We go play, you go shake on what tonight, you know, and you know, say no one like me. I go take, I go play, you go play, on what tonight, you tell me I be got me. I let it run, that's like we go take, I go do everything.
Somebody call me Bado. He coming through, he coming. Give me some ginger, give me some ginger. Here we go. We number one in the game. No competition.
Cause she got everything where I need in a woman and more. My lady, if you see my lady, oh, it's not no go on. You go know say people fine. You go know say God design in a LLA.
Say.
She like my dress. She not face you. She like actress. I say nobody be contest you. She like a show. She like my dress. She not face you. She like actress. I say nobody.
Watch the mix.
I don't care if I saw you in a magazine or if you're on TV. That one don't mean nothing to me.
Okay.
Don't need a shower, baby. I need a free. Lick it like ice cream. It's nothing. Chop my banana. One side and nothing. Go shopping.
Sing it.
Make with the check for the life.
No, they use us play.
Oh no, anti-wise too.
When you're big, you're big, you're big.
Oh no, on the mission. How many men follow me? Oh no, the team. I go back, come on, move like a speed race. So fast, they go to the race. I'm on, move like a speed race.
Watch
so
the mix.
fast, good to believe it.
Say. Okay.
Alternate sound.
You see, I keep telling people, when you reach for that greatness, it gets lonely at the top. We say hi. The game is the same, but the swag is so different. Like the sound DJ Biggie, it's lonely at the top. Let's go.
Money on my mind. Don't care what they yarning about me in particular. Out here on the road chasing my dream because I know.
Hello. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Hello. Thank you. Good afternoon again. It's good afternoon, everybody. Can I have your attention, please? Just a minute of your time again. It's the pro agent lady again. We're downstairs and we're hoping that because we were all meant to be down for 2 o'clock. Unfortunately, it's a bit past that now. So we're hoping that for those who are ready can come down with us now. We'll just direct you to where the space is and we'll take you around. If you're ready, I know that some of you were giving a paper with numbers. So if you have numbers from 1 to 2, please can you come with me if you are ready? Hello? Numbers 1 to 2, please. Hello? Am I speaking to anybody? So please, if you have numbers 1 to 2, I'm just going to go outside now. If it's okay, you just come with me if you're ready. So I can show you the space. That's good. 1 and 2. Yes, come with me. Thank you.
touch it because you get good vibe.
Big vibe.